Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another edition of the good, the bad, the ugly, the juice review show brought to you by the Department Held Vapors. Now, just got to stay for the break before I go any further. Any views or opinions you hear during this review are mine and mine alone. I've not been paid to do this review. I did not pay for the product that will be on display in this review either. Also, please note, individual setups, builds, taste preferences, and power levels will alter what you get from a juice. I can only tell you what I'm getting myself. Now, before we get on to the juice, a couple of days back now on Saturday, I popped along to VaperExpo and just want to say a few words of what I thought about the actual event. Good points, bad points. Unfortunately, personally for me, the bad points really did outnumber the good ones. I'll start with the good points and then I'll go through it. We got there about 5 to 10. There was a slight queue there. Got to admit, the way they handled the queue this year again was really, really good. We got through the queue really, really quickly and then into the pre-show area. We caught the arse end of that. Actual event itself this year, so say good points. There were some really, really good new companies and the smaller companies. The only problem is you really have to search for these at VaperExpo. Main carpet, you'll get all the big hitters. All the way, you got Six Licks, Fantasia, all that lot. You get them all down, Vape Base and all that lot, are all down that main centre one. But it does pay dividends sometimes, just branching off and going down the smaller end. Like the family businesses, the new to the markets, the small batch producers. Finally got to try Black Note. There will be a couple of reviews coming from them because I was incredibly impressed. I'm not a tobacco fan. I've probably said this in reviews before. I'm really not a tobacco fan, but I was more than happy with the tobaccos they were producing there because it tasted of tobacco, but not like you were having a cigarette. It was like you were having a proper, expensive, nice, cured tobacco. And I really have a lot of respect for Black Note after trying some of this stuff. And I have got a couple of their stuff up for review in the next month, month and a half. Also, I found out there was a lovely little Polish company as well, brand new to the market. They had a couple of lines that they were doing, which was Extreme Vapor and also the Crazy Chicken. Now, okay, on the marketing side of the Crazy Chicken, they do need a little bit of a kick in the arse. But the juice side and what they're doing is something a little bit different. It's something I'm not quite sure how people are going to take to it because it is different. But this is what this channel was about. We wanted to bring you not just the big companies and here's our version of something that's been around for 4 or 5 years already. We wanted to bring you the sort of kind of off the wall stuff or the kind of a little bit away from the norm stuff. And what they're doing, they've got a custard range there, and yeah, it's a bit left centre of the norm for a custard range, but it works. I have got the full range of that coming up in review in about the next few weeks. Now, I will have to admit, entertainment was a bit lacking this year. Like, I mean, I just caught the arse end of Titan being there. I have to admit, Titan's always a good draw. That's always a bit of fun. But there weren't really much else. Like, I mean, we had the main stage area, which get everyone fucking jumping up and down, going, oh, yeah, throw me 10 mils and I'll kill the person next to me. Luckily, I will admit the crowds were a lot better behaved in the actual stage area this time, which was nice to see. That was nicely calmed by the two hosts. Would say on the two hosts, however much she was an absolutely lovely woman, she was very trebly. And when you're there and she's, yeah, the same guy could have just put a little bit of bass or just dropped the treble down on her mic because it really did set the inner ear going, not great at all. I think my main problem was at Expo this year. There was a certain type of product that was there, which, thanks to YouTube being a bit of a dick, I can't say what that product was, but I'm sure a lot of people who watch vaping videos now know what type of product I'm talking about. You couldn't go 10 foot without walking into another one of them. It got to the stage, there were so many of them stands there, or that were attached to other stands as well, you might as well have called it Expo instead of VaperExpo. Now, we know, don't get me wrong, the product does do a lot of good for a lot of people. It's got people off painkillers. It's helped people with arthritis. It's helped people getting over cancer treatments. It's helped people with MS. It's helped people with anxiety. It helps a lot of people. But it did take over the event. When you couldn't, anywhere you looked, you fucking saw it. So I've got no problem with the product itself. It just flooded VaperExpo. And it did get to a point when you start thinking, well, there's that many here. Have they all just came in to fill a gap? Because the other problem that Expo had this year, I'd say numbers were down. Numbers were down going round the place on the, well, at least on the Saturday I was there. I mean, you had the initial rush where we all go in at 10 o'clock in the morning. So you're coming on for about 2, half 2. Expo emptied out, and it emptied out quite a bit. People were doing it in 4 hours this year. I mean, last year I could have done with 2 days. This year I kind of done it in about 4.5 hours. And then I was just kind of milling about a little bit and catching up with some of the more on the fringe of the actual Expo layout, which I'm glad I did. Like I'm saying, I discovered those Polish people and they were absolutely brilliant. It's nice to see the actual guys who make the juice and who actually own the company at Expo these days, because the amount of distros is kind of taking that personal touch away from what used to make these events, what we used to enjoy. I love going there, well, especially because I do these type of reviews anyway. I like going there to talk to the guys who made the juice, to talk to the manager of the company and see how his vision of going forward is. You can't do that now with a lot of them because the distro has brought in about 12 different brands, which originally would have been 12 different booths. And you don't get that anymore. You don't kind of get that those little nuggets of information that you actually get from the guys who have put their heart and soul into making the juice. You're just getting the, everything is great, you've got to have this, you've got to have this, you've got to try this, you've got to try this. Because they're just trying to sell it. They haven't had a hand in the actual making of it and all that process. And as to Expos, I find them coming a little bit less personal every time I go. Mainly because beforehand where I'd go there because, I know the owner of so-and-so is going to be there with his juice company. Next year he's not, because the distro he sold it to is there, and they're just going to go, yeah, it's great, it's la 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 la. And I'm not going to get any more information of, which I kind of like getting the information so I can pass it on to you guys, and then get a little bit of a lay of the land of how that company is and their morals behind how they do things, which in this day and age, in some areas, is unfortunately, sadly, lacking. Other things that were there that I weren't overly impressed with. COS. Yes, heat not burn, which it's not a vaping product. Look, this is VaperExpo. It is not a vaping product. Don't get me wrong on this one, okay? It's got its place in the grand scale of things. Vaping isn't for everyone. I know as vapers we think it is. It isn't. Not everyone gets on with vaping. And for those people, IQOS might work. I know it's not as harm reduction as what vaping is, but it is still harm reduction. But don't, as I'll tell you something, Vic has said it, he's used the best expression for this. Don't muddy the waters. But there's so many people getting bent out of shape going, oh, if IQOS want to be in a vaping shop and the vaping shop wants them, what's the problem? Yeah, but you're not saying that about NRTs, are you? And this is coming from the harm reduction groups. But yes, NRTs are harm reduction. They don't fucking work, but they are harm reduction. Heat not burn is harm reduction, but it hasn't got such a high percentage of harm reduction as vaping has. But it gives another option for people where vaping doesn't work. But yeah, they were the emptiest booth I've ever seen for the whole day. Every time I went past, loads of salesmen just, can I talk to you? No. Can I talk to you? No. Can I? No. Even to the point where, and I wish I'd been here to see this, they all say that someone hacked Evolution's sign. I'm calling bollocks on that. But on their massive display, that at one point, apparently on the Sunday, it just flashed up, fuck ICOS. And they were right next to it, so ICOS got a good eyeful of that. It shouldn't be a vape. And the whole connotations about VaperExpo as well. I mean, VaperExpo were quiet, to be honest. Though, I mean, I'm sure some people are appreciating VaperExpo because they got an award the night before. It's not a vaping product. I mean, the 3 letters I can't obviously mention because I'd actually like my channel to keep on here. I can see there is a connection because vaping provides a delivery system. So I can understand that, but not where I can't even fart where my cloud of gas hitting another booth. There was just far too much. If you actually took all the out of that, there wasn't a lot at Expo this year. Anyway, noticeable absences as well. This was all down to the fact that the Stuttgart Hall of Vape was on at the same time. Someone's dropped a bollock here. I mean, one or the other must have known what the dates were when the other one was. I'm not being funny. If I was a UK event and I heard the date I'd originally planned was also the Hall of Vape, I'd have done my hardest to change my date. Because for what I've seen and what I've heard from people who went, Hall of Vape absolutely fucking killed it this weekend. Really killed it, and apparently a lot of good attitude there as well. It might have been because of it might have been because of actual attendance numbers for the Saturday, and especially when it died off. But the amount of vendors who just looked bloody bored. They were absolutely grateful if you went up there for a chat. But they weren't that grateful if you didn't actually buy anything. Yeah, well, a lot of us are going there to try stuff, and if it's good enough, we will do that. But if it isn't, and there's a lot of booths that are basically doing the same flavour, just under a different name. But I mean, even it tastes exactly the same. It's basically like there's a lot of white label companies that are dishing out to numerous others, and all those other ones just put their own labels on it. And it's the same juice. I ask a question every time I go to Expo. Any old new company I go to, especially the new one, I'll go more for the new ones. Have you got an original juice that if someone said that flavour, everyone instantly goes, oh, that's so-and-so's, that's your juice? No, the answers I get back are, yeah, I've got a vanilla custard donut. That's not an original flavour. He's got an original custard donut. He's got an original custard donut. He's got an original custard donut. It's not an original flavour, and I can guarantee half of them taste the fucking same and all, because you've probably used the same ingredients, because you've used the same company to produce them. Things need a change. Things need a change. I have to admit, I am concerned at the moment for the future of Jam, Expo, Fest, because last year the numbers were down on that as well. But then from what I have been hearing, they may be on the lookout for a new venue for next year. They're in the same place this year, but next year it might be a different venue. London Vape Show, the Manchester Lifestyle Show, which has got all like extreme skateboarding and all this stuff, as well as vaping. I'm concerned. I'm concerned because it's starting to look like it's going down the toilet. Jam was shit this year. That's going on reports. And also my experiences of what Jam 3 was. Jam 3 was terrible. Jam 3 looked like a fucking car boot sale. Especially in the middle, there's just an empty, there's just like a corner, a few tables on the corner of this square bit, and then an empty gypsy site in the middle where everyone just dumped their boxes and crap. Expo, think was hit by Stuttgart. I think it was hit quite badly by Stuttgart. But you couldn't even manage to get to the back wall this year because they've erected all those partitions. But normally you could get to the back wall and out the far exit out the back to get a bit of fresh air. You couldn't get anywhere near that back wall because there was so much partition. So that shrunk the size of what was down there. Like I said, if you take off the booths, yeah, there weren't a lot there. There was noticeably missables. Good. I will mind you say on Expo's behalf, there was better selection of hardware this year. There was a lot more of the Chinese companies down there. I mean, you had your usual, you had your Smart, you had your Spy, you had your IPV, Vupu, Asvape. There were a good showing on the actual mod section, and there was a German modder as well. Oh, and I will please apologise, I've totally forgotten your name. He was on the little Big Chef stand, had his own mech tubes there, and they were absolutely beautiful. They really were gorgeous. But I did notice that normally with Expo, you'll get like stage area, entertainment, throwouts. Well, throwouts, to be fair, entertainment's sorely lacking unless you count the one section when there was 3 people up there to win something or other, eating a raw onion each. Fuck knows. But I mean, there was a bit with Titan as well. That was good. I said Grim Green. I'm a twat. Professor Green on Saturday was potentially hilarious. It was advertised 3 till 5. PA. Professor Green. Sort of go down there. All right, it's the Vapor Round booth. I'm not entirely happy about it, but if I can just get to meet Professor Green, I'm a happy camper. We got there about just before 3. We queued up. There was 14 of us in the queue. And then they shut the queue off behind us. That was it. A PA for 3 PM till 5 PM was a PA from 3 PM to 10 past 3. And about 3:15, Professor Green legged it out of the building because he obviously had another commitment. Yeah, it's not great, is it? It's the amount of people that were coming up like 3:05, trying to get in the queue, and they said, "No, that's it, we're done, we're not in anymore." So, organisation. I mean, okay, Professor Green may have had another commitment. I'm not having to go at him. It was just the way, if you're advertised for 3 to 5 and then you do 3 till 3:10, it's not great. It's going to piss a few people off. But to be fair, it emptied out by that point, so it didn't matter as much. One other thing I would like to mention. I don't know if any of you other guys tried it. There was a sweet booth at Expo this year called Head Candy. I think it's Vornigan Candy or something like that. Yeah, I had a bit of a bad reaction to that. I mean, I had a bit of a fucking bad reaction to it. What it's supposed to be is there's supposed to be hundreds of flavours in this sweet, plus something else which causes like an electric feeling all over the tongue, which is supposed to aid in Vapor's tongue. Well, it cleaned my palate, I will admit that, and then it coated it in something else. The sensation on my tongue that I got from the sweet after about a minute, it did kind of get like tingly feeling all over the tongue. I thought, well, that's a bit different, it's a bit weird. And then it grew. Then it grew. And it kept on growing. It grew to the bit that, I mean, I used to, as a young teenager, suffer from migraines. Which basically means I've got a headache on this side, this half kind of goes a bit numb and pins and needly. that was the sensation I was getting over my whole tongue, was this pins and needly sensation of it going, whatever it was. I was informed it was all natural. There was no THC, there was no that word, and there was no caffeine, there was no herb or this or that, like that. It was all natural. Then it spread to my throat. Now that, pins and needlies going off in my throat, as my throat went a bit tighter, was also pins and needling in my gag reflex. And I started to... and I couldn't stop because the sensation wouldn't go away. I spat the sweet out. I gave it to them back in the wrapper, dumped it on their thing, and I started to retch. And I couldn't stop retching because it was keep on going and that was keep on triggering the sick trigger. My mate Simon, who was with me, noticed I'd gone a horrible shade of white. I just about got to their toilets, and that was me for the next 10 minutes, puking my ring up as I couldn't stop puking. It just kept on yanking the sick trigger. And the sensation on my tongue as well was just giving me bad flashbacks of when I used to have migraines. I did go back and tell the guys, what the fuck is in your sweets? I've just puked my ring up. Oh, we've never had that reaction before. We're giving out thousands of sweets. Never had that before, mate. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened. I said, what is in there? What is exactly in there? Because I want to pin down what's just caused that reaction. Oh, it's just plant extracts and natural stuff. It's just plant extracts. What's in there? Oh, no, I don't know what you're on, mate. Thousands. We're giving away thousands of these, mate. No one's had a reaction like that. No one's had a reaction like that. I've had a fucking reaction like that. You might want to do a bit more testing, because I now want to know your ingredients to see, potentially, if there's anything in there I'm allergic to. Had a look at their boxes before. I can't see any list of ingredients on the box. Just another little clue. These sweets come in 3 strengths. Don't give out the strongest one. Give out a medium one. Give out a low one. Let people have the choice. Because I went there, I saw head candy, and since I'm at, this might be stupid on my behalf, a vaping fucking expo, I'm anticipating they've got juice. I'm anticipating he just offered me a sweet because that's his way of enticing people in like a pedo in a fucking school ground. But no, that was the actual product. I actually thought, hang on, Vape Expo, obviously they've got juice. He's just offered me a sweet as well. Bonus. I'll have that. Then I'll crack on. Or maybe it reacts some way with the sweet. I don't know. Explain your fucking product, guys. And I will say this once again publicly. I want to know what ingredients are in your sweets so I can pinpoint maybe why I had the really not very great reaction that I did to your product. Because it did put a bit of a damper on my day, to put it politely. I'll tell you what put a dampener on my day. Food in Expo is shite. It's a general rule. If you buy food in Expo, it's generally not great. I mean, in October, I made the mistake of buying a burrito. And I've never seen a sloppy burrito before. Yeah, it was just basically this liquid gunge inside it, which was, that's so nice. No, it fucking wasn't. This year I made the mistake because it was actually reasonably priced, which should have been a warning sign straight away. Right down the far end, just behind the stage, their little catering area. And they were doing a deal which was a pint of Amstel plus a hot dog for $7.95. And do you know what? I thought, that's not fucking bad actually for Expo. I'm used to getting bent over and raped for anything I want to eat or drink at this place. I'll have a go on that. Well, we did it. And, yeah. Hot dogs shouldn't have a skin that you have to really munch to get through. You should just bite into it. It should be like thin skin, sausage meat. Alright, sausage meat is always a bit iffy. You never quite know how they've done it, but it should be. And we are. just to get through this thick old skin that was on this hot dog. And Simon saw my face as I was just trying to get the last of it down, like. So to then go and have your shitty sweet, bring it all up again. I didn't want to taste it the first time, to be honest, guys. Having another go on it was like, because it didn't taste great going down. It tasted fucking awful coming up. But anyway, I did get to meet some lovely people there. I mean, I know I've gone on a big rant. And I've gone on a big rant because seeing the quality of these and the numbers going down on each one I go to, like I said earlier, it does raise concerns for the future of these events. It does. I mean, look around and you see all those vendors bored because there's no one going to them because there's not enough people in the room to keep a steady flow going past their booths. They've paid a lot of money for that. They've paid a lot of money to be there. And they're going to come away from that and go, I don't want to do that next year. I don't want to do that in October. I don't want to do Jam. I don't want to do Expo. I'm not bothering to go down to Fest this time. We're all off to Germany next year because it fucking worked. Something needs to be done. I was going to do a juice review on this, but I've rambled on so fucking much. I'll leave that as a separate entity. I apologise for this being a bit of undirected ramble. You know, with this channel, we don't script anything. We don't edit. You get it as it comes out, and sometimes that can be tangent cities with a bit of a ramble, and this has been one of them. But I think I'm just disappointed, to be honest. I mean, I'll give them credit. I mean, like I said, hardware was represented a lot better than it has been in the past. I'll give them credit for not bothering with the Modders Gallery again after the disaster of October, where but there was about 4 or 5. Yeah, there was about 4 or 5 modders in there in this massive area. The area could have held 15 to 20. There was 5. And they were all in little corners looking really lonely going, why did I bother? So I'm kind of glad they didn't do that again. Always a pleasure to meet up with Chef's Vapor. I'd also like to give a massive, massive thank you to Carl from Chef's Vapors. After me being sick, I went to visit their store to cheer myself up. Bought a couple of concentrates. Weren't quite really in the right frame to talk, and I left my mod there. 5 minutes later, Carl's given me a Facebook message phone call saying, "Come on, mate, you left your mod here." Like, oh, fuck me. And I went and got it. So, Carl and the whole of the Chef's Vapors crew, thank you so much. And as always, it's a pleasure talking to you guys. Old School Vapes, good to catch up with you. Good to see you still in the business and good to see you expanding your range. You're always happy to talk. You got good product. You got good products. You're happy to talk. And you know what you're talking about. And that's good to see. And it's good to see someone who's still enthusiastic about this business and not just going, yeah, buy this, I need the money. You're not. You're still, you want the feedback. And that's good to see. Because so many companies don't want the feedback these days. They just want to sell as much shit as they can. It's good to see. Yeah, but I've got to go back in October. I've got a few people I've got to meet up with, which is always a bonus. But I've now got to question whether these are viable going to anymore. I mean, I said about, the whole Stuttgart being on the same weekend, I don't think helped. I think what is also not helping now is there's too bloody many. In the end of the day, we're only a small little fucking island. And now you've got Jam, Expo, Fest, one in Manchester, Doncaster, London Vape Show. That's 7 events, because you've got to remember Expo's twice a year. 7 events. People haven't got the money anymore. People can't afford going to this. I mean, when I used to do 2 days, and you factor in travel, you factor in your hotel room, you had, in fact, during food and drink for 2 days. That's before you've even considered actually, oh, and your ticket, if you've had to buy one. That's before you've even bought anything. And a night on whatever town you're in. It's not cheap. I mean, that's what annoys me when, if someone comes back from Expo or Jam or something, they've gone 2 days, they've probably spent about 300 quid. If they've really gone out for it. And then they put up, oh, this is what I got, la 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 la. People go, oh, you went there for free shit. I think they're paid for it. I'm not being funny. If they've spent that much money for a 2-day, 3-day trip in some cases, they've paid for the stuff they're getting one way or another. Not a cheap day out anymore. So, I'm going to leave that there. I'd just like to see a few things change. I just want maybe get a better balance there. I mean, there was a hell of a lot of pod systems there as well. I know these are all emerging markets, and that's why you're seeing more of them than normal. But pod systems are basically reshaped Singer-Lights. Let's not go overboard about what these actually are. For new starters, a pod system can be superb. It's probably more superb if you're not in this country than when you are in this country, because they can have a higher nicotine content. But you can put 20mg nic salts. And for a lot of people probably converting over from cigarettes to a form of vaping, that's going to help. That's going to work. And it's a lot smoother than how we all started off with 24 PG heavy, 70-30 PG VG blended in a CE4. Well, actually before that in a Bogue cartomizers. They were great. Had the foam that a fish tank had in it. They were superb. But something needs to change. As I say, entertainment level was. I mean, I had fun at their little casino. I probably had a good 45 minutes to an hour in their casino, just because the guys who were running it, good-natured, good-humoured. People were enjoying themselves. People were smiling, and that was just an achievement. I mean, other things I don't need to see at Expo. All right, we do not need to see a stripper's pole. What the fucking point is a stripper pole? I know you seem to think you instantly by doing that, you're just saying vaping is for youngsters of a legal age, obviously, but the younger members, the 18 to 25 group, when you walk in and see shit like that, that's all you think. You think, have I outgrown vaping? You're not catering for the older market. I mean, I'm 44 now, have got the mind of a 16-year-old, which helps. But I'm 44 now, and even I'm now walking around there going, really? Really? You think that will actually get you? If I was a business and I went, hang on, I'm not for new companies, new juice companies. What we've got, stripper pole. I'm not thinking about your juice anymore. I'm just thinking about how tacky your advertising is. Anyway, I'm going to stop this rant here. If you have enjoyed what you've listened to today, please like, share, comment, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'll be back soon with all the reviews from Expo. I'll be fair, there weren't that as many as normal this time. Mainly because a lot of the companies I potentially want to talk to were in Germany and not in Expo. But, yeah, I'll say we've got one from Old School Vapes. We've got one from Mr. Juicer. We've got a lot from the Polish company behind Crazy Chicken. The name needs to change, let's just put it that way. But the juice is unusual, original, and I love them for it. And Extreme Vapors. And I've got a few other bits and bobs in the bag, and I've got a couple from Black Note as well, which will be an interesting change of review from me. So on behalf of myself, Darren Stone, head of the Department of Inhaled Vapors, I bid you all a very good day, and I hope to see you soon. Take care, people.